Let's start. The unit 3 of the MPOP, Management Process and Organizational Behavior, is all about the organizational behavior as a discipline. So, let's understand what is organizational behavior, which is abbreviated as OB, is a field of study that investigates the impact of individual, groups, and structure have on behavior within the organization for the purpose of applying such knowledge towards improving an organizational effectiveness. So, in short, we can say that organizational behavior is all about understanding how people behave within an organization at individual level, at group level. There are some informal groups within the organization as well as formal groups as well. Departments जो होते हैं, they are the formal groups, and the entire organization, impact of that behavior on the entire organization. And why we are studying how people behave is to improve the organization's effectiveness as well as to modify their behavior in the positive direction. Modification of behavior is an essential part in the organizational behavior. Study करना and modify करना behavior for the purpose of increasing the organizational's effectiveness. So organizational behavior as a discipline has evolved from the, if you remember the evolution of management, so the human relations theory, the Elton Mayo experiments, and that led to the focus on the behavior side of the people, that led to the behavioral approach in the evolution of management, and which led to the birth of this subject or this discipline, right? Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So next we have why study OB, and that means what is the need for organizational behavior. इस सब्जेक्ट या इस डिसिप्लिन की नीड क्या है? First is responding to globalization and working with people from different cultures and managing workforce diversity. These 3 points can be explained together. See, through what happens with the globalization is now we have multinational companies, right? And what is the impact of it is that people are working from different cultures, different countries together in a common firm. Like when MNCs, say Google is running in India, so its Google headquarter has some people, most of them, majority will be Indians, but some people will be from US, UK, even multinationals have people from Japan, China. So what happens is the complexity or workforce diversity has increased, and people from different cultures have different value system, different beliefs. So ultimately they might be impacted by the words of another culture's people, right? So offend होने के chances ज़्यादा होते हैं. So people can get offended by one of the another communication patterns, right? Like let's take for example the say the when you talk about business communication, so there are various studies on intercultural communication, where the business communication between the Japanese is generally they will not like to talk about their families, but when you talk about Americans, they are very easy to, they are very open about their families and their personal life. So if American people are communicating with Japanese, there are chances in a business. There are chances of conflicts automatically, right? So this is the need of the hour, that we should able to understand each of the behavior of different diversities, right? सिर्फ cultural diversities ही increase नहीं हुई globalization से, gender diversities भी increase होगी now. If you see 50 years back, women contribution in jobs were very limited, but now more and more women are involved into the jobs, right? So that's why the organization need to have the policies and welfare schemes so that the women are protected in the workplace के अंदर they are protected, they feel safe, as well as facilities like child care leave or maternity leaves. These are all facilities are added, right? So that diversity has led to the need of the organization behavior as a discipline. Now we have to understand how different people from different cultures, different backgrounds behave, and try to create an environment where everyone can stay happy and without any conflict. If there is conflict in the organization, it will lead to fall in the productivity and profitability. Thus we need to have the OB as a discipline, right? Then Another point is stimulating innovation and change, new innovative ideas, innovative concepts, as well as change. Change, we are talking about changes in the any business management process or any production process, any product or any working time or any HR policies. These all ultimately, so these all changes will ultimately what it will lead to, that people might resist about it. So if we want to create an environment where innovation is promoted, change is accepted easily, we need to understand how people behave and try to convince them in that sense, right? जब हमें पता होगा सारे कैसे कैसे बिहेव करते हैं, सबका पैटर्न ऑफ बिहेवियर क्या है, सो वी कैन modify our approach towards implementing of change as well as innovation in the organization. Then is the improving people skills. If we understand people within the organization, we can try to give them training according to their skills, according to their capabilities. Like if someone is an introvert personality, they need training regarding the public speaking, they can be given training regarding the public speaking in the organization, right? So based on the personalities, we can identify what are the weaknesses and strength of my workforce or my people in the organization. I can give them training accordingly, right? Then creating a positive work environment. Positive work environment means where there is no conflict, everyone is living in harmony, conflicts नहीं है, हारमोनी में रह रहे हैं, पीसफुली रह रहे हैं. एंड दैट इज़ पॉसिबल ओनली व्हेन वी ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड ईच ऑफ द behavior of different diversities, different people from different cultures, different backgrounds, and try to build an environment which is healthy and in peace, and ultimately it will lead to better productivity, right? Then is the improving ethical behavior. Ethical behavior means moral behavior, moral principles. So if you know that corporates के अंदर there are so many frauds happening, frauds and malpractices have increased, so it is the need of the hour to uh, create, to modify the wrong behavior of the employees, right? So OB is concerned with understanding and modifying the behavior. So right, that's why we are trying to imbibe the ethical and the moral principles within the people. That's why we need the OB to modify their wrong behavior into the right behavior or ethical behavior, right? Is the need clear? Need of organization behavior clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, nature of organization behavior. Organization behavior is a separate field of study. It is a discipline as well as separate field. Like economics or political science, it is a separate field, right? Then it is an interdisciplinary approach. Interdisciplinary means it is a subject which, or a discipline which is made up of various disciplines. Like the next topic that we will do is all about the elements we have taken from different disciplines, right? So it is a combination of multiple subjects together, राइट हमने अलग अलग डिसिप्लिन से एलिमेंट्स लेके वी हैव कंट्रीब्यूटेड टू द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ दिस डिसिप्लिन and for the purpose of improving the performance and the behavior of the people within the organization, right? And applied science, it has various principles, it has various theories from different psychology, sociology and other subjects and disciplines, right? A humanistic and optimistic approach, since we are dealing with the human behavior, so that's why it is a humanistic approach. And optimistic means, optimism is the faith that positive things will happen. So it has faith that we can modify the behavior, it has faith that we can change the scenarios. So that's why it is optimistic. And total systems approach means that it is seeing the entire organization as a whole, it is seeing the people's behavior individually, as well as how they are behaving in small groups and how they are behaving in the entire organization. So it is checking the behavior in three levels: at individual level, group level and organizational level, to understand the impact of the people's behavior on the productivity of the organization, right? Concern for effectiveness, so we are doing the identification of how people are behaving and trying to modify their behavior, but we are not doing it for the social cause or any kind of social service, but we are doing it to increase the productivity and profitability of the firm itself, right? Clear? Then satisfaction of employee needs, since we know that employees aspirations and needs are increased, they want more welfare schemes, more motivation, and uh, better services, better workplace to live in. So it is very important to satisfy their desires and needs from the organization. So OB helps in building good relationship with the employees, right? Clear? Nature of the organization behavior, is it clear? A- any doubt?
Yes, sir.
Any doubt? Anyone?
सर एक बार इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी अप्रोच बता दो.
See, interdisciplinary approach will do it in the next topic itself. Okay, so let's do the interdisciplinary approach now. Uh, Before that, let's understand the importance of OB. So you can even identify the importance of organizational behavior from the previous nature and the definition of OB itself. Okay, it helps in understanding the self, how we behave and how others behave. So it is importance in that thing. And in motivation of human resources. If we understand how different people react and behave, we can derive the motivation tools for motivating them. Like someone who is very ambitious and extrovert might be motivated by some kind of recognition, awards, whereas someone who is uh, needy of the money, and also they must be given monetary rewards. So these understanding how people want different things in different scenarios. Like if you I give you the example, especially in India, the women workforce are willing to uh, they can work for in they don't require any kind of bonuses or something, but they are more willing to work when they are given ample time to uh, ample amount of time, so that they can spend it through in their home as well, with their family as well. So if they are given 1 hour or 2 hour break, or 1 hour 2 hour break, or they are given chance to go to home early, they are happy with it, right? So different workforce have different kind of motivation factors. If someone gets a leave extra, they are happy. Maybe someone who is given a leave extra is not happy, they want more monetary rewards, right? So different people have different kind of expectations. So OB helps in understanding their expectation and trying to solve it with the motivation team. Effective communication, if we know how our thus how the next person to me will behave, so I can communicate my terms in such a way that conflict does not arises. If I know, like I was giving the example in the early slide, that the Japanese people and the American people have different behavior in business scenarios. So if Americans knows how Japanese will react and Japanese know how Americans will react, automatically they can formulate a communication pattern which is in you can say sync with both of the cultures, and chances of conflict automatically declines, right? Effective organization climate, uh, conflict free organization climate is possible with the help of organization behavior. Good human relations, this is also similar to that. Human relations can become strong without conflict, right? And introduction of change is possible easily, as compared to when you don't understand the behavior. If I know how my workers will react if I introduce certain new machinery or new timing, and how I can convince them, if I have all the things in my mind, automatically I can introduce the change more easily, rather than without understanding their behavior and nature, right? So let's talk about the now contributing disciplines, जो हमने multidisciplinary approach की बात करी थी. So this will be cleared from this point, right? See, organizational behavior as a discipline is made up of various disciplines, right? So OB is not a you can say entirely different thing. Uh, it has taken elements from different disciplines. Like psychology is the major makeup of the organizational behavior. Psychology means the study of the behavior of people, their psychics. That is all about the psychology. right? So psychology includes the behavior, attitude, perceptions, how people perceive things, what are their attitude. So these all comes under the psychology element. Sociology is all about the social interactions, how people behave in groups, group behavior we are talking about. Social psychology is related to sociology itself. Sociology is all about the groups, whereas social psychology is all about the behavior of people within the groups, their psychics within the groups, right? So anthropology is the study of cultures, different cultures, right? So these are different subjects itself. If you talk about the humanities के अंदर these are the some of the major subjects. So we have taken the elements from these subjects or the disciplines to derive at the construction of the OB. OB is a kind of a new subject itself. It is not very ancient subject, so we have developed it with the help of various other disciplines. Political science, we have all have studied it. Political science is all about the understanding the power and the politics, how people with when they are given the power, how they react, right? We have to see na, can that person is capable of becoming a manager or a leader. We have to see if that person, if a person is given the power to if a person is given power in the sense of a position, if we know that person will manipulate others and be dominative, so automatically that person is not qualifying for the for that position. So we have taken the elements from political science as well. Economics, we have taken the elements of understanding the impact of monetary rewards on the people. Money से related आ जाता है economics में, तो we have taken the impact of monetary rewards on the people. Now you can understand this in better way through this table. Like you can see that we in the organization behavior we are studying the three levels of behavior: individual level, group behavior, group level, and the organizational behavior. You can see from the psychology we have taken the perception, values, attitudes, decision making, learning, motivation, job satisfaction, work stress, to understand the individual level behavior. Psychology is being used in the individual level behavior understanding, whereas sociology and social psychology as well as anthropology we are using to understand the group behavior within the organization, how people behave in groups within the organization. Groups might be formal groups like departments, groups might be informal groups as well, like trade unions, right, or workers unions. Whereas when we are studying the behavior for the entire organization, we are using the elements from sociology, political science to know the how people react to when they are given certain power as a position, and anthropology, right? So this is the entire makeup of the organizational behavior as a discipline or a subject, right? So this is why it is known as interdisciplinary, because it has used the elements from various disciplines. Is it clear or any doubt? This is very important topic from the examination point of view. Is it clear or any doubt?
Yes, sir, it is.
Someone was
Yes,
having
sir.
doubt
Exactly.
regarding the interdisciplinary approach. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir, yes.
Okay. Now, challenges of organization behavior, they are somewhat, you will find most of the points very similar to the importance and all. Because of the reason, these things are becoming more and more complicated, so they are becoming a challenge for organizational behavior as well as a discipline. Like globalization, if you talk about 10 years back or 20 years back, globalization was there, but the intensity of globalization was not as it is in now 2021 may we have more MNCs, more foreign nation companies and all investing into India, and more integrated approach, right? So diversities are becoming more and more intense, right? We are getting participation from the minorities as well, which were not very dominant 20 years back or 30 years back. So that's why it is also challenge for the organization behavior. People who are trying to understand the different attitudes and behavior, now उनके लिए complexities are have become more advanced, right? Then satisfaction of aspirations or desires of the workforce, the aspirations or desires of workforce has increased. If you talk about 50 years back, people were not expecting things like welfare schemes, insurances and all for the workforce and all, but now people are more concerned about the welfare, right? As a worker, as a employee, employees are now more aware. They want more welfare schemes and all, more care from the organization in which they are working, which was not there in the earlier times. So to satisfying everyone's aspirations is a kind of challenge for the OB, right? Empowerment of employees. Now there is the trend of empowerment. Decentralization is increasing. People want the power to take decision making. More autonomy is required. So that is also a challenge कि किसको power दी जाए, authority दी जाए, किसको ना दी जाए. That's why we are studying the power and politics. Can we make everyone leader or a manager? We have to see na whether that person has the quality of becoming a leader or not, or a position or not. Whether they are given, if they are given power or authority, if they misutilize it, that means that person is not capable of it. So understanding each and every person's attitude, personality, and behavior is becoming a challenge for OB. Right? Improvement and productivity and quality. Now focus is more on productivity and quality. You know that even innovation and change, if you talk about that, also is kind of a challenge, right? Why? Because if you see now in tech world, if you talk about tech companies, every 6 months or 3 months some new product is coming. So see how the challenge of you can say competition is increasing. Everything is now becoming so fast paced. So it is a kind of a challenge for the organizational behavior, because of the reason that you have to mm, innovate and increase the productivity on every level, as well as taking care of the employees. So they have to go in hand. Na? If you have to increase the productivity, that does not mean you will start exploiting employees. So that balance, creating of that balance is a kind of a challenge, as well as facilitating work life balance. Work life balance is something very dominating nowadays. Work life balance means when we are giving our employees time to take care of their family life as well, right? So if you know, many corporates are giving paid leaves and paid holidays to the employees, their families. So this is all things are for the maintaining of the work life balance. So this is also a challenge. And ethical behavior, moral behavior, right behavior. So frauds are increasing. More people are evading taxes and involving into some kind of fraud or briberies and all. So the challenge to convince and you can say modify the behavior towards the morals is a challenge for the organizational behavior as a discipline. Is it clear?